we're not supposed to see that.
Yeah, no, you're not supposed. But anyway, so we put a picture on the blog post because it's been also hard work to make it also low power and etc. So I think it's fine to talk about it.
What this is going to enable somebody to do is be affiliated with Matter to fit in with the protocol of Matter, and they don't need to worry about that because you've done it.
Yes, exactly.
So what you saw teased there is Arduino's soon to be released, don't know when, Nano board for Matter, and anyone who knows me knows that I love the Nano series. Enjoy this completely unscripted, completely unexpected interview between Guy and Arduino CEO Fabio Violante about why Arduino decided to go into the Matter space, why they made a board to make it even easier for people to use Matter, and why the world needs Matter, especially in an IoT where there are so many wireless technologies and we want everything to talk together.
Maybe we can start from the problem statement. The problem is that we are surrounded by technology companies, even at CS, and basically a lot of this technology end up in the houses of people. And this means we have now fantastic heaters, connected bulbs, we have radio, we have everything, but up to a certain point in time, this technology were not talking to each other very seamlessly. So,
which is all to do with different protocols and all that kind of stuff.
Different protocols, different radio protocols, different standards, different way of doing things. Each one tried to dominate this world, but it's impossible because the variety and heterogeneity of these tools is unbelievable. So I think the initiative of Matter is really, really important because basically at some point when you have too many different things, you need standardization for these things to talk to each other. But there is the other side of the coin, I would say, that is the complexity that comes with making these things talk to each other. And of course, when you talk about different radio protocols, when you talk about different application layer protocols, different applications.
So can I just pause you and just ask, for you, who's been studying the whole concept of Matter, so you've had to go through, as a company, as a CEO, you've had to go through what are the complexities of Matter. Now, we have actually had a few videos on Matter over CS, so we've spoken to a few companies about Matter, but maybe you could just sort of give us, so Matter is something that isn't in the broad stream now. It's not something that everybody's. Whereas AI, I've spoken about AI, I don't know, 1 million times in the last week. Matter's come up 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're the 3rd.
Yeah. Okay.
so just get talk about, just give us the idea, give us the background of. Because I think we all understand the concept of connected environments, the sensors, the hubs, the Wi-Fi. So just give us a background about why Matter then is important in that scenario, and what it brings, and why you therefore, because you've made a big decision, to say, let's support Matter.
Yeah.
It'd be very easy for you to go, let's not worry about Matter. But you've made a decision to do that. So there's a reason why you've done that. So just take us back a little bit, and then just talk us through, if you may, about why that is complex and what's going on. Because we've talked about it, and I know that it's to do with the sensors, it's got to do with the hubs, it's got to do with other different protocols. So just give us a quick, brief background how you perceive Matter and why it's come about.
Yeah. So I think that a lot has to do with the fact that there is a sort of heterogeneity of communication protocols. There is also a stringent requirement in terms of security and authentication of devices. And
sorry to interrupt you, but a word that's come up a lot, I've only had 2 discussions about Matter, so it couldn't have come up a lot, but is this word privacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's an interest. So sorry, just to bring privacy in and what that means.
Yeah, so I was including that into the security.
Sorry.
Into the security spectrum, but it's very important because each and every one of us wants, to have the privacy put as a first-class citizen in our conversation. So that's something that is important for the individuals that are using those devices, but it's also very complex from the technology perspective, because it's much easier to go send all the data to the cloud and then having some AI or somebody take care of those data and their privacy. But the moment they leave your house, those data, you never know what is gonna happen. So
Absolutely.
that's add also a lot of complexity also in terms of technology complexity, because you need, cryptography, you need authentication, you need all those kind of things. Plus there is, last but not least, the power element, because in many cases those devices are deployed with batteries.
Absolutely.
And nobody wants to change battery every week on on your light bulb or somewhere else. So if you add all these things, basically you created a picture of the very complex environment, because you have low power, you have security, you have multiple radio protocols, you have application protocols. So you have to agree, and this is the most complex thing among engineers, agree what light bulb is. So even though it may be obvious, so you have 3 million ways of describing a lamp. Okay, so probably the most
well as everything else, as well as
everything else.
Yeah.
So the point is, I think that was astonishing about Matter is that they agreed what is a light bulb. So and they created a profile and
did they call it a light bulb?
Yes.
We all agree a light bulb is a light bulb.
A light bulb.
Yeah, excellent, good.
And
you can see that this is two tired blokes having a chat at the end of CES, can't you? Yeah, go on. Please carry on.
So basically, the point is, even though the problem we're trying to solve seemed to be simple, then you tackled all the technology issues that you can imagine on the market right now. So low power and all this stuff. So on the other side, if you are a device manufacturer, the way to write Matter code up to what we are announcing here at CES was like a real complex thing, because you have low power devices, you have border routers, you have IP, you have everything in there. So
Wi-Fi,
you have thread, mesh networks, BLE. So the best of the complexity summarized into a sort of overarching name. So what we decided as Arduino, because it's aligned with our mission. So our mission is to enable people creativity by making complex technology simple to use. That's the clear statement that each and every one at Arduino in our company have as like the key statement, the key mission of the company. So when we see complexity, we love to make it simple.
Yeah.
And making stuff simple is not as simple as the final
It's
outcome.
actually the most complicated thing
It's very complicated.
It's the most complicated thing
It's
to do.
very complicated. So not alone, but with the help also of the guys at Silicon Labs that are expert in this area. What we have done was trying to understand how a simple matter could be. Okay. So Arduino, of course, provide a very a very usable platform with low barrier to entry for general problems. And when it comes to Arduino, one of the key things that are part of our ecosystem are the libraries. So basically, through the libraries, not only us, but the community makes this technology very simple to use. So think about BLE. So our BLE library is not the most sophisticated that you can imagine in the world, but is probably the most used way of creating a BLE devices in the world. We try to apply.
Well, it's the 90-10 rule with that kind of thing,
exactly.
isn't it? Yeah, you don't need
all the all the things.
You just need to get to a point where you can get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we try to apply the same mechanism to Matter, and we said, okay, for doing things regularly using the tool chain for the single vendors of radio chips or microcontrollers, it takes 1,000 lines of code, 3,000 lines of code for a light bulb. Just saying on and off, connecting, understanding, and doing a lot of these kind of things for solving the basic problems. And we said, is there a way to reduce this complexity and go straight to the point, so that somebody that wants to do, not only, I keep mentioning the light bulb, but you can do very, very sophisticated stuff.
We started with a light bulb. Let's carry on with the light bulb.
So I love this example because, a lot of the examples in Arduino are the blink and LED.
Yeah.
So the light bulb
It's just a bigger one.
It's the blink. It's a glorified blink.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So basically, there we said, okay, is there a way we can abstract all this complexity and somehow have the library do the complex job that is, at the end of the day, almost the same for all the kind of devices and profiles that people use. So this is what we have done. So basically, we created a library where, with the 8-9 instructions, you can basically connect to the network. You can sign up your devices. You can register your devices so that is visible and interoperable, and do what you really need to do. So focus on the application, because one of the key challenges in our industry is that as technologists, we focus on the how, not on the what.
Yeah.
So for us, it's important to try and understand what are you trying to achieve, and how we make it easy for people to get to the what immediately. Of course, you have the full flexibility, so you can go beyond the 10 lines of code. If you need to do like something that is super ultra low power, you can tweak the code to make it more sophisticated, but at least you have instant gratification. So you go from the idea to
something that you can play with.
You can play with.
Yeah.
And you can do this within the Arduino framework. So basically, install the Arduino IDE and use it.
So you've so you now have this board that you've built around Matter.
No, we don't have yet. So we have a prototype here.
Well,
so we have a prototype here. So it's gonna be available probably by the.
Were we not supposed to see that?
Yeah, no, you're not supposed, but anyway. So we put a picture on the blog post, because it's been also hard work to make it also low power and etc. So I think it's fine to talk about it.
Okay, good. So tell me, in a Matter system, there's a lot going on. The light bulb, we'll keep going with that.
Yeah.
And you focus on the what. There's a play on words there somewhere, but let's not go down there. Matter, you've got all these protocols going on. So you've, as you just described, you've got sensors out in the system that you don't want to replace the batteries every 5 minutes. You've then got Wi-Fi going into the hub. You've got all sorts of things going on, and Matter have come along and put a standard protocol that so that just using your example, we call a light bulb a light bulb. but everything else will also have its standard word. So where does that sit in that system?
So in that system, the objective of this board is that so far people were somehow forced to use closed devices, so things that already have a specific set of features or functions. And with Arduino, we open the possibility for creative people to do other stuff or other ways of doing stuff. So in many cases, as you see in our community, when we design a piece of code or a piece of hardware, we never know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do is to provide, the basic infrastructure to unleash this creativity, so that basically people can say, okay, I don't have to care about how this thing is going to connect to my phone, but I can invent, I don't know, a fish feeder, a Matter-enabled fish feeder where you can ask Alexa to feed your fish,
right,
or something like this. So, but
you can tell that it's coming to the end of CES. We've now gone to a fish feeder
from the light bulb.
Yeah, from the light bulb. Yeah. That's okay. Just bear with us. We're getting there.
Yes, but it can be a robot.
I understand.
That can do something useful.
Yeah.
For
so the key thing about this, which we weren't allowed to talk about, and that we weren't allowed to look at, and that we weren't, which is now in my hands.
Yeah.
Is we know that this is going to have to connect in some way into a Matter system.
Yes.
Yep. And it's then going to have to ask the fish feeder to feed the fish.
Yes.
So what this is going to enable somebody to do is be affiliated with Matter to fit in with the protocol of Matter,
Yes.
and they don't need to worry about that because you've done it.
Yes, exactly. So
Perfect.
that's exactly the point. And basically, this is in the nano format that is pretty popular. For us, it's one of the, let's say, most popular format we have in Arduino, because people want small things, especially if you want to do like battery powered devices or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And you have the flexibility of the input and output of this device to do the actuation, to do the sensing. So here you can surround this board with whatever ecosystem you like.
And that is the point.
Yeah.
That is the absolute point. So, as I said, when we've been wandering around CES, and this is where we started, we you can fall over yourself and somebody will tell you that we're doing AI. But Matter has not come up. So, but if you take the smart home environment, where you've got this incredibly complex idea of many protocols, different things going on, lots of connecting, low power. What you're saying is you can give whatever it is that's on the end of that system.
Yes.
That's going to have to connect with everything else. The basis of that is going to be Matter. So whatever you've got has got to be compliant with Matter.
Yes.
And that's what you've delivered with this.
Yes, I think this is the sort of the bridge between your idea and the existing way of consuming your idea. So and it's plays nicely within our philosophy, because if you buy, I don't know, a thermostat, it's going to be a thermostat forever.
Yeah.
So if you build a thermostat with Arduino, one day you can think about using the buzzword of AI, you can think about evolving the intelligence of your thermostat the way you want. It can be more sensitive to your cat or your fish and be connected to something else. So
this is gradually becoming more and more silly as we go along, but that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. So basically, you can take something that was made for one purpose, expand the capability, make it more intelligence, less intelligence, but it speaks the same language. So
yes.
We are creating the infrastructure to enabling this kind of.
No, this is actually very seriously, that's when we're talking about the whole concept of smart infrastructures, home is the most typical example.
Yes.
And we have wandered around this week and we've talked to brilliant energy harvesting companies, for instance, who have, if you like, been solving the same problem that you're describing here. Their point is they've been talking about batteries. So they've been saying, how do you make batteries last 4 times longer? Because in this Matter environment where you've got all these different protocols, our battery sensor, whatever it's sensing, has also got to talk to be compliant and understand that it's in the Matter. So what you've done is say, design engineers, don't worry about that, because you probably look at that and you look at a flow diagram and go, wow, I'm going to have to learn a whole bunch of stuff to integrate into a Matter system, which you're going to perceive as being highly complicated, and you're saying no. And what you said is making complicated things simple.
Yeah.
That was what you said. So you said you've just taken Matter and gone, let's make that simple. Let's take something that's complicated. Let's make it simple. Let's give you the control. So whatever your creative idea is, there it is. That's your foundation building block, and it will be compliant with Matter. So whatever else it's chatting with in that system, go and play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly. So if you think, applying the 80-20-20 rules. So as engineers, we focus on a lot of energy on the 80% of, let's say, opening up a TCP connection from a microcontroller. So that's the wonderful exercise we do. And then 20% on the application.
Yeah.
We're trying to revert this equation and say, okay, 20% on opening a TCP secure connection to a router, and 80% focusing on why and what we're trying to achieve. So it's crazy, because this thing, even for our cloud offering, we have the Arduino IoT cloud that is an important part of our strategy moving forward. It's tough to convey, for example, to embedded engineers that the fun starts when you solve a practical problem, not when you open an MQTT socket with a certificate.
Yeah.
Because they spend like countless amount of time keeping the board alive with watchdogs and all these things, and then opening a socket, and then opening an MQTT, sending data to MQTT, processing the answer, and then 20% of the time saying, okay, why we have done this, what are we trying to achieve?
Yeah.
In the IoT cloud, we did the same thing. So we have this code generation part of the cloud where you basically decide what the device is meant to do. So measuring a temperature, doing something on actuation, for example, turning on and off something. You decide at a very high level what you're gonna willing to do, and then we generate the boilerplate code that does the connection, restart of the board if it fails, give the sanity of the protocols and the device and all these things, so that people can really focus on what they want to achieve, the ultimate outcome.
Yeah. And I think that, I know that, as the CEO of the business, you're very conscious of changing. I don't know whether you're conscious. I'm not going to put words in your own mouth because I don't know the answer to this question. But the perception of Arduino is helping people go and have fun, which is very cool. That's changed the world. That's cool. But what you're really now saying is, do you know what? But the fun is everywhere.
Yeah,
and the fun is this ever-changing world that we're in. You go into CES, you walk the floor of CES, which is what we've all been doing over the last 3 days, and you just look round and you go, I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing here, but it's bizarre and it's strange and it's weird. But someone's thought it up.
Yeah.
And some of that will still be in our world in 10 years' time, and most of it won't.
Yeah.
But that's the point. So it's interesting to think that here you are now saying to our community, which is professional design engineers in OEMs, this is your platform to go and be creative and clever in professional environments. Where this is a building block, this is a stepping stone to take all that nitty gritty learning bit. Forget that. Go and be clever. Go and be creative. Go and solve the fish tank, the light bulb. Go and do that. Focus on that bit, which is the why.
Yeah, and I think that as a segue, I totally agree with what you said. So this is exactly so. It is my thinking. You just interpreted correctly, and probably you said it with a better accent than mine in English.
No, I don't know.
But
there's times in my life I would have liked that Italian accent, but anyway, there you go.
Yeah, the point is also to enable other types of people to tap into this world, because the point is, as engineers, we think we own the world because we master the complexity. But what if other people, like what ChatGPT is doing for programming in Python, you go there, ask a problem, it generates the code, you understand the code and program. So many more people can access these things. So it's quite important, because with this kind of approach, shaving a little bit of the complexity from the problem, you enable probably one order of magnitude more people to start thinking in technology. Maybe they are not going to do the final device, because the final device for production needs to be vetted, programmed, cleared by, let's say, a professional engineer. But at least, let's say, the idea testing, the prototyping part, etc., can be done. So what we are doing at Arduino is one step farther, because Arduino is very known as a prototyping environment. So
exactly. Yeah.
We had countless customers that we didn't know they existed that are using Arduino for prototyping, but many of them are using also Arduino in production. So what we have done in Arduino in the last 3 years, it was to help those creative people also to take Arduino not only to the prototyping stage, but taking it also into production with, of course, the security, the quality, temperature range of devices, and also the rest of the services that the company may need for going to production with Arduino. So basically broadening the number of people that can access this technology.
Well, and you're not old enough to remember FPGAs when they first started.
Probably yes.
But in theory, they were a prototyping platform.
Yes.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
FPGAs were there so you could prototype something,
Yeah.
and then you turn them into ASICs. So the whole idea of this is prototyping, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It is, but actually, if you think about the FPGA model of 20 years ago,
Now it's production.
now it's just a absolutely standard
Way of doing things.
way of doing things. So it's not as though the electronics industry hasn't seen that model come to fruition in the past. It has. So it's not a leap of faith to think that this is. It's not a leap of faith to think that there's no reason why that can't be a production solution.
At least we believe that. We're
Yeah.
strong
Well,
believers in that.
I'm saying the same because it's happened.
Yeah.
That's how the electronics industry has worked in the past. So there's no reason why this wouldn't be exactly the same idea.
Perfect.
There you go. Well, that's just about the end of my CES. I wasn't expecting to meet you. I wasn't expecting to have this conversation.
It was wonderful conversation. So
I think we had some fun. I think even though we've got absolutely no energy left, it's been really, really enjoyable chatting to you, and look forward to seeing this. It'll be interesting to see going 3 years' time, having this same conversation and seeing where this led to, and seeing the things.
Many fish feeders.
I think people might move on from fish feeders, but anyway, there you go. Seeing where that led to, and where smart homes have ended up, and all the other things that we then see on the shop floor at CES. Safe travels home.
Thank you very much.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. Obviously, because the board isn't out yet, I haven't done a board page specific to the Arduino Nano Matter board, I guess is what it will be called. But we do have the user-defined board for Arduino, which takes you through the full Arduino Pro range and the Nano range and the MKR range. So if you'd like to register your interest for this new board, fill out the form, or if there's any other Arduino boards you want to try for your commercial applications, you can use that form too. Keep designing.